E.3 JavaScript Basics Part 2. Here, I want to make some correction a little bit. At the beginning of the previous video, I said we will have 3 videos for Java Basics. But after I look at the minutes I used for this part, I already used too many minutes. Part E.1, I used the 40 minutes already. Part 2, I used 26 minutes. And I only have 10 minutes left. So for this one, I can only have 10 something minutes. So this is our last video. E.3, our last video for this topic. Later at some time, I may like to do counting on the number of minutes for each part. So if we use more than 75 minutes, then I will move to the next one. If fewer than 75 minutes, then so we will carry that number, plus or minus, we carry that number to the next part, next class. So eventually we will make sure the average is 75 minutes. Okay, so I plan to do that at some time. All right, so let's start. So for this part, I may use more than 75 minutes, I estimate. Okay, all right, so let's just, the topic we want to discuss, JavaScript output, part 1. First, writing to the HTML element. This one, we saw it in our previous video. Here, we just put here, okay? So we use this document.get. Remember, we use .inner HTML, right? So in our previous video, we have example inner HTML. In that way, we can change the content of any HTML element. So that's the first case. Second case, writing into HTML output, whole output, not element. So here you can see the difference. Okay, so the method we use, document.write method. So you can put, what do you want to write inside the parentheses. But this way, for testing purposes, not for our information display purpose, for testing. Some JavaScript function, so you feel there could be something wrong, so you want to do some testing. Change some values and see what happens. For that situation, you can use this way. All right. Example is very simple. So in your function, the code anytime. So when you want to see some internal data, so you can do in this way. Testing purposes. Okay. So here, there are 2 situations here. So this one tells you there are 2 situations. The first one, when you display current document, so you have the HTML content, so you have this JavaScript content, right? JavaScript, if you have that, it will be displayed. Okay, so that is the first case. Second case, all right. So second case, you already have an HTML document displayed, okay? And then later, when you click some button, so here there is some button. The button call JavaScript function, and that function you have this line there. When you have that situation, delete all existing HTML. It just display the output of this method call. You just display the call. So all the HTML content all removed. Yeah. So that's the reason this method for testing purposes, not for your normal dynamic content display in HTML. Because we don't like to do in this way, in our normal dynamic content display. Yeah. All right. Right. So the normal dynamic content display, we use this way. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's this note. Yeah. All right. Another case, we can write output alert box, writing into alert box. This feature, special feature, is useful. So we do it this way, window.alert. Okay? Window object.alert method of that object. Example, simple like that. Yeah. Usually alert from this name, you can see, just give your user some warning. Yeah. So you expect your user may do something wrong. So you want to make your user aware of it, right? So you pop a box, alert box, put some messages there, okay? So, yeah. In that situation, you use this way. So the user click OK to dismiss that small pop-up window. Yeah. That situation. Yeah. All right. But here we use this window object. This window object is very special because it is a global scope object. Global. It represents, the global, handle, because you want to call some methods in a global way. So everywhere in your JavaScript code, you can use it. So it's a global way, okay? Yeah. For that situation, the default case is this window object. So that means if you skip that window, you just call alert. Then the browser will treat it as you use the window default window object. So attach that method to that window object. So the same as the window.alert. Yeah. So that's why for any methods associated with this window object, you can skip it if you like. Yeah. All right. All right. We have, next, output part 2. Yeah. Writing into browser console. Yeah. So this is also another useful feature. Browser console. Yeah. All right. So we use the console.log method to write some data information on the console. Okay. Yeah. All right. And here, this way, mainly for debugging purposes. Debugging. So here, this debugging topic. Yeah. Later, we try to talk about this, because debugging also very important for programming. Yeah. When you develop JavaScript code, the browser itself, it does not give you any error messages. You won't see error messages. You just see it doesn't work, but you don't know why. Okay? Especially when you create some advanced features, a lot of code, but after you test it, it doesn't work. No error message. At that time, debugging support is extremely important. You want to know why. You want to dig deep into your code and find the reason why it doesn't work. In that situation, this console.log method is very useful. Okay? Yeah. So we try to find time to to learn that. Yeah. All right. Another JavaScript output using window.print method. But this one is from the browser, not from JavaScript. So this print method is from browser, web browser. The web browser support printing feature. So not from your JavaScript. Yeah. But anyway, for programmers, we do not care. We just want to do this feature, right? So the example is this. When you click a button, we call this method. So this method we know comes from the browser. The browser supports it. But for us, it's not important. We just want to see it works. Okay? Yeah. So you can print your current page. Okay? So whatever the page is, display. Yeah. So you click the button, print this page. That's it. So then, page display, print, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Next, JavaScript statements. Yeah. Very similar to Java statements. Yeah. So values, operator, expression, keywords, comments, very similar to Java, those of Java. Yeah. Semicolons, yeah. We use semicolon to separate JavaScript statements. Okay. But we get used to using semicolons to separate statements, programming statements, Java statements, programming statements. Yeah. We're used to that. Yeah. But just like this example, right? Yeah, just like this example. So we use semicolons to separate. Yeah, and but it is not required. Okay, so it is recommended, not required. Recommended. Okay, yeah. So why is that? Why is that not required? Yeah. So that means if you do not use semicolons, the JavaScript, the web browser interpreter can still apply some internal way to try to understand it. So that's called automatic semicolon insertion. So the browser can do that, automatic semicolon insertion. Okay, yeah. But it is not encouraged, not recommended. Why? Because you need to be familiar with all those rules. Yeah. So another thing is, if you use semicolons, you can make your code more readable to your team. Yeah. So you may have several programmers working together in your team. So you want to make other people understand your code better. So you better use semicolons. Yeah. All right. Then white space. In JavaScript, when we use white space, so very similar to the way we use in Java. Okay. So ignores multiple spaces. If we have multiple spaces, only one is used. Multiple consecutive spaces, only one is used. Yeah. So in that way, because sometimes we need to use more space characters to make our code more readable. We want to format our code in a nice way to be more readable. Yeah. Another thing, when you write a formula, assignment, operator, operation, you better put spaces around operators to make it more readable. So when people read it, so easier to understand the whole complicated, especially for some complicated formula. Right? Yeah. Another thing, single statement may span multiple lines. Yeah, sometimes you have a very long statement, so you want to break it into multiple lines. Yeah. So then you want to find a nice way to break it. Okay, yeah. So one way, yeah, so recommended, yeah. So when you want to break it, try to break in the right place. Yeah. So break it after one operator. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So that will make other people, or also make the, people understand your code easier. Yeah. All right. Next, JavaScript syntax, the comments. Comments exactly the same Java comments. Yeah. Two types, double slash and block type comment. So beginning and end, so we can put a block of comment. Yeah. Next, identifiers. Thus follow the same rules of Java. Yeah. So look at these rules. The first character must be a letter, underscore, or a dollar sign. Okay, the same as Java way. Yeah. Subsequent characters may be letters, digits, underscore, and the dollar sign. Okay, same as Java way, right? Yeah. Numbers are not allowed as the first character. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All JavaScript identifiers are case sensitive. Yeah. So nothing new. Yeah. For us, it is very natural. Yeah. All right. So let me finish this video.